Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. For those of you that are new here, I'm going to be making a video today on how to be beautiful, how to be more beautiful. You guys really liked my last video, how to instantly upgrade your appearance, so why not just stay on the topic of beauty, because I do make beauty content as well, so why not talk about like the inner work around beauty and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, or a comment. I really appreciate it all the time. I love hearing your guys' thoughts and your take on the subject, and any feedback is always useful for me. So yeah, how to be more beautiful. I was trying to think about what I wanted to make a video about today. And I was going to make a video about how to deal with like people that are draining your energy, or like why people drain your energy, like talk about that. But I decided to make a video on how to be more beautiful, because the truth is that if you stop dealing with like unnecessary drama and stop dealing with like the wrong people, you become more beautiful because you're less stressed out. And managing stress is a big part of life, but it's also a big part of like maintaining your beauty, because it's a way that you maintain your energy and your vibe, so to speak. So I feel like if you know how to manage stress, you literally stand out, and it's such a useful skill. And 9 times out of 10, like the most stressful thing that we deal with is literally other people. Like that's where conflict tends to come from. So it's worth taking the time to learn how to process your emotions and deal with stressful situations, so that when that happens, you know how to like take care of yourself and not let yourself go, whether it's on an emotional level or a physical level. The reason I was thinking about this also is because I just got done doing this journaling. I was doing some journaling before I got on camera, and I was told that the best way to like forgive somebody and to let things go is like if you write a letter to that person, and you basically just say everything you have to say, write it in the letter, and you'll feel like a sense of relief. So I tried that out today, and I wrote a letter to somebody, and I just aired it all out. And I can't tell yet if I'm feeling better, but I definitely made that fresh on my mind. So it just kind of like, while you're writing it, like, have you seen the TikToks where it's like people cursing people out in their mind, but they're journaling? They're like, they told me this would help me. If I find it, I'll link it. But that's kind of how it felt, because it's like, ugh, just irritation. But I do think that's a useful practice, just to kind of get your thoughts out. It does make you think a lot, so there's that. And I started thinking about how people really can, drain your energy, and I feel that it affects your overall life. So of course it's going to affect your beauty. And, part of self-care and self-love is to like really be careful about who you're letting into your life and who you're allowing to have access to you. And relationships are important, so I don't want to promote like being antisocial, because I think in the end, isolation and being antisocial does more harm than good, even though there's just some seasons of life where that happens naturally, and we bounce back and forth. I feel like that's natural, but prolonged isolation probably isn't healthy. But one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is really like pay attention to who we're letting into our lives and how we're spending our time, especially if we're spending time with like the same people and they're taking up a lot of our time. And you are really influenced by your environment, you're influenced by the people around you. And it's like, when you're dealing, for example, when you're dealing with somebody who always has a lot of drama, who's always upset about something, when you care about somebody, you naturally become invested in the things that are happening to them. And it's like, a tale as old as time, when you just get wrapped up in people's problems that were never even yours. And you get wrapped up not only in their problems, but literally in their way of thinking and the way that they view life. I feel like that's more impactful, and if you're not careful, it could really set you back like in life, if you're not like conscious of the ways that people's mentalities affect yours. And that's something to really like have intentionality about, because it affects your psyche and your mental state, and that's pretty much like one of the most valuable things that you could have. It's one of the, yeah, literally, that's so true. So one of the ways to be more beautiful is to really have intentionality about who you're letting into your life, who you're hanging out with, who you're spending time with, and safeguarding your peace and your mental health, and being careful of who you're allowing to influence you. I literally have a video on this topic, choose your influences, where I go more into detail, but like really taking the time to be like, who's in my ear, who am I listening to, especially if you're like highly sensitive, if you're intuitive, if you're an empath, if you identify as an empath. Like, we really take on other people's feelings and thoughts and emotions and struggles as our own. So it's like we have to have boundaries with ourselves about what we are and are not willing to deal with, and how much we're willing to like tolerate We should definitely not like neglect ourselves in the spirit of being compassionate and being an empath, because everybody has their limits, and you do have to have your own decision about what you want your life to look like. And if people aren't adding to that, then I feel like it's okay to distance yourself. Like, you have to be the person to make that decision. Um, and, you know, without clarity in your thoughts and without this awareness, you wouldn't really know. That's why I advocate for journaling so much. And if you're interested in journaling or you want to start your journaling practice, definitely check out my signature inner work journal, Wisdom in Dark Paradise. It is in the description down below. It's a 5-day journaling practice to help you become more wise. But most importantly, it's definitely like a guide to get you started journaling and to get you into the practice of writing and using it for the sake of your inner work and personal development, which is like such a useful tool. It's one of the things that can really help you improve your mental health. There's many things. There's therapists, there's life coaches, and there's journaling, and there's just so many other things that we can do, including taking care of our physical health. Like, everything kind of ties into one another. But I do have to say, journaling is one of the main things that's helped me, so I will always advocate for it. And if you want to get started using my journal, find it in the links down below. Being beautiful has to do with your, not only your looks, but the way that you carry yourself, and like your emotional control and your composure and your demeanor. Like, that's basically like charisma, and you can't fake that. Like, you get that just by going through life and like learning the lessons. But like, emotional control is really important. I feel like a lot of advice on the internet people take like literally, and some of it is like figurative. Like, for example, right now Shira Seven's going crazy, like she's going viral. I've loved her channel for so long, but at the same time, I feel like her advice is not all of it is meant to like literally be taken like so literal. Like, there's entertainment value in the things that she's saying, but if you're not careful, like, you can get yourself into the wrong situations if you're following um, her advice like word for word. You know what I mean? Like, women should definitely have their own like thing going on, and it's not everything is about money. You know what I mean? But saying that, just to disclaim that any advice you hear on the internet, like, use your own critical thinking too. Please don't ever just listen to what somebody says and do what they said verbatim because it worked for them, because different things work for different people. And like, you need to learn how to think for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you need to learn to trust your own judgment and think for yourself, and not have other people tell you what to be thinking. Like, that's not healthy. Like, have your own opinion, have your own like way of thinking. But yeah, emotional control, like, it's not, what I mean by that, it's not like a blanket like facade thing, like trying to act a certain way when you're really not that way. Like, because you might be fooling people, but you're not fooling yourself. And like, real inner work that transform you from the inside out gets reflected to other people regardless. So it's worth taking the time to like really be real with yourself. I feel like um I don't like to see people like lying to themselves, because like eventually they start to like just really lose it, like lose themselves by lying to themselves so much and being not honest with themselves. So even when it hurts, I encourage you guys to be like honest with yourself. Journaling is the easiest way to do that, honestly, because it's just a pen and paper and you can just write all of the things going on in your mind. um but the reason that I feel like people, okay, one of the ways to gain emotional control and like regain your composure, because be honest, like, when you lose your control over your feelings and you're all over the place and you feel like so overwhelmed and stressed out, or you had some kind of like emotional outburst, whether it was like anger or you said something snarky, or like however it came out, we don't feel good after we do things like that, right? So why not make it easier for yourself and make the relationships in your life intentional? Don't be around people who bring out the worst in you. Like, decide decide those like those boundaries with people. Don't spend time around people who are like problematic and literally just, I don't like this word because it's overused, but toxic. Like, there's people that they get a kick out of provoking people. They can't control their own emotions, like, and you don't have to be the doormat for people like that. Like, you can choose who is in your life. Like, we all can make those choices. So if you want to regain your emotional control, it starts with like having enough respect for yourself to be surrounded only by people who are like uplifting you or are at least neutral and not taking away from you. Because who has time for that? Like, we all have our own goals, our own dreams, and the wrong people can really set you back in life, drain your energy, and take away from your essence, which will make you less beautiful. So this is one of the ways that I think you can be more beautiful, is like limiting the emotional turmoil you go through with just toxic people and having the boundaries where you need them. Also, journaling and managing your emotions from the inside out and processing them in that way. And I feel like having emotional composure and control makes you more beautiful because it shows that you really know who you are. Like, no matter what, what other people are saying, what other people are doing, it's free to run your mouth, and people do that all the time. And if you can find a way to like not let yourself be so easily provoked and not allow just anybody to have the influence on your emotions, this is a strong skill to have, and you won't feel a low self-esteem because you're in control of yourself and you act in a way that like aligns with your true character and your integrity, and you don't allow people to like force you out of who you really are. And it's like when you think about say you're in a relationship and someone cheats on the other person in the relationship. Sometimes the advice is like, oh, cheat back, like get your revenge. But it's like, why stoop down to that level? Like, if you're not somebody who has that desire to like cheat on people, like if that's not something you genuinely want to do, then like, are you gonna do it just because it's like a form of revenge, or are you gonna like just walk away from the whole situation entirely because that's not you and you know who you are, and just because somebody made you upset maybe and triggered you, made you sad, made you angry, it's not enough to like take you out of your character. And that comes down to emotional control. And not only does that make you beautiful, but it makes you just a respectable person because you you know that makes you strong. It makes you strong, it makes you beautiful, it makes you have integrity when you don't allow people to provoke you and make you do things that you wouldn't otherwise do. And I even have one more example. I'll say this, I've definitely been in situations where this is like the flip side, right? So say you've done the inner work on yourself to like know how to handle high stress emotions and handle conflict. And you speak to people like with respect. You don't lose control of your emotions. You don't raise your voice. You've gotten to a place where you feel peaceful about that. The flip side is that not everybody is there. So you're definitely gonna experience dealing with difficult people still who even if they know, maybe they don't practice having that same kind of emotional stability, I guess you could say. But it is empowering like after the fact when you see that you didn't let yourself respond in a negative way. That goes a long way, and unfortunately not everybody's like that, but what can you do? Like, you're only in control of yourself, and the way that you view yourself matters more than anybody's opinion. And as long as that is intact and that's high, then you're on the track to having a high self esteem and attracting only the best that life has to offer because that's what you deserve. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is another take on how to be beautiful. Don't let people drain your beautiful energy. Do it in a healthy way. Manage your emotions in a healthy way. Have some control. Don't let people take you out of your character or change you just because they choose to do XYZ. Know who you are. And yeah, this video was kind of all over the place, but let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm still kind of under the weather, but I like videos. I like making videos, so let me know if you enjoyed this video. And I'm also still enrolling for Empress of ESTEEM. The live training is happening on November 1st. If you want to learn more about that, the links are in the description below. I'm working on the journal for that program as well, so I'm really excited. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and what you want to see next. Bye.